There are less than 2 weeks left before Congress has to do something before those massive federal spending cuts go into effect. But the House and Senate are in recess until February 25th. That will give lawmakers roughly 4 working days to decide on some kind of spending cuts and revenue sources. I want to bring in Congresswoman Marsha Blackburn, Republican from Tennessee. Congresswoman, good to see you.
Good to see you. Thank you.
House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi yesterday blasted Republicans for adjourning before a deal to avoid spending cuts was reached. Take a listen.
People inside and outside the Congress are saying a simple message: no deal, no break. We really should be here. Democrats are about solutions, the Republicans about sequester.
Why did Congress take its recess before dealing with the deficit issues?
Well, the calendar for the year is set the previous year, and we schedule a certain number of weeks to go back into our districts to meet with constituents and to work, and this is one of those weeks. And quite frankly, I got to tell you, everybody has known that these spending reductions were going to take place on March 1st, that we have known since August of 2011 that we were going to do the across-the-board spending cuts. We had the select committee. This has been looming out there. The Senate has not taken any bill that we have sent them that would have addressed this. And you can go back and look at the register that we sent over the Journal of Activity from May 10th, August 1st, August 2nd, September 19th, 2012. Solutions were given to the Senate. The Senate said, we're not going to deal with that. And they didn't.
Let's
so we get to a deadline.
Talk about the optics. We're talking $85 billion. We're talking, according to the CBO, 750,000 jobs are on the line here. And you go back to Tennessee and all of the, not just you, obviously, I mean, you're here, so we single you out, but all of the congressmen, all of the senators that really don't have the best of reputations these days collectively, you take a vacation. It just looks
We're not
bad.
taking a vacation. We're working and meeting and hearing from our constituents. And Craig, you know what? If you were sitting with me, with my constituents this morning, what you would have heard is this: we want the spending cuts to take place. We want to make certain that the non-defense discretionary is cut even further because of all the accelerated spending that took place through TARP 1, son of TARP, grandson of TARP, stimulus. You got to cut out this out-of-control spending.
Were supported by Republicans.
We want to make certain that we protect the military. And Republicans, when we go back next week, House Republicans are going to bring a bill forward that will give the military some flexibility as we try to protect them and work with them through this process. But I got to tell you, if you're talking to constituents across this country, they're saying the federal government spends too much. You don't have a revenue problem. You have a spending problem. When you have increased discretionary spending 30%, certainly you can cut it too.
Congresswoman, the CBO, the Congressional Budget Office, nonpartisan, we should note, highly regarded by both sides. They believe that the spending cuts that are going to take place on March 1st will have a devastating effect on jobs in this country. Doug Immendorf saying in part, quote, we think that it will reduce the level of employment by the end of the year by some 750,000 jobs. If your constituents, hang on, I'm not finished. If your constituents have their way, if they have their way, it sounds like you're saying you're okay with 750,000 jobs being cut from a still recovering economy.
What my constituents are saying, and what I fully believe, is that the federal government spends too much money and has too many employees, and that there are plenty of places to cut. What my constituents also want. Hold on just a minute and let me finish.
And then you're going to give me the 3 places?
What my constituents also believe is that the military needs to be protected. Now, Mr. Elmendorf's comments that he made in large pertain to what you're looking at with the military. And if you're looking at accelerated layoffs that would take place with some of the civilian employees that are there, here's what is happening with the military,
Congresswoman. It's food safety inspectors. It's not. I mean, you've made this all about the military, and I get that. You represent a part of Tennessee where that's very popular.
There are so many places. Let me give you a great example. If you want to talk about discretionary spending, non-defense discretionary. Take, for example, the GAO report. We have 342 different economic development programs in the federal government. You know what? All of those have a fiefdom. And Craig, there is so much waste, so much bloat in the federal government. Of course, you can cut those down. Of course, we need to be reducing what the federal government spends. Of course, our constituents are wanting us to make reductions in that discretionary spending. They want us to protect military spending. They want us to stabilize Medicare and Social Security so that the benefits that you have been paying for, you're going to be able to get. And then they want us to deal with all of the entitlements and the programs that have just grown.
Before I hate to cut you off, but if I don't cut you off, I don't get to ask any more questions. Before I let you get out of here, you were one of the folks that expressed some skepticism about the president's claim that he shot Skeet. I haven't talked to you since. I assume that you've seen the photo. You said that you would invite him to shoot Skeet with you. Have you gotten an invitation? Have you gotten an invitation from the president?
Well, I have to tell you, he has not yet invited me to Camp David. And I am working on pulling together a skeet shoot. And I do plan to invite the president. And he can bring that over-under that he was in the picture with. We'll see how well he shoots it.
Well, you know what? We'll leave it there. Congresswoman Marsha Blackburn, a Republican from Tennessee. Good to see you, Congresswoman. Thank you.
Good to see you. Thank you.